Welcome back to another episode of the Behind the Wall podcast, sponsored by Campus Steaks. It's a Philly thing. Today, ladies and gentlemen, I got a really awesome guest for you guys. He was the Fiesta Bowl MVP. He was an All-American back in college, first-round draft pick, led the NFL in receptions in 1998. He was balling before I was even a twinkle in my dad's eye. Ladies and gentlemen, my man OJ McDuffie. What's up, OJ?
Len, you didn't have to go there, man. I mean, the rest of it was great, man. But damn, you didn't have to go there, bro.
What I threw it a little jab at the end. Hey, I did. Well, look, OJ, I'm serious. So these young cats, they need to be educated on you, because I'm not gonna. I knew who you were, because like even before Penn State, I was a big time NFL fan, so I knew who you were. Obviously, playing with Dan Marino and all that stuff. But even me and OJ just met about a month ago at the Letterman's bowling alley for Penn State, and I really didn't know, because this dude he acts like just a normal dude. But I didn't know you led the NFL in receptions. Like, I didn't know any of this stuff. So these young cats, they need to know this type of stuff, OJ.
Yeah, Len, I got lucky one year, man. Everybody gets lucky. You know what I mean? Every once in a while, when you got a great quarterback like Dan Marino,
Yeah.
who at first landed, we weren't the best of friends, man, because you know how much we hate Pitt. You know what I mean? So I thought, man, me and Daddy, I said, Danny, man, throw me the ball, man. This Pitt Penn State stuff is over, man. We're on the same team now,
Yeah,
you got obviously. Yeah, so obviously in '98 he got the message. Before that, he'd gotten the message, man. '93 when I got drafted, I got very limited time. But '94, '95, he and I started rolling, man. In '98, I mean, obviously nobody could stop us that year, because we had such a great rapport. So leading the league, and what's crazy about that whole thing is that we had Mark Duper, Mark Clayton, as everybody knows the Marks brothers. We have one of the greatest, wide receivers in history, Paul Warfield, who still has the most yards per catch in NFL history right now, even though they threw the ball very little back in the early 70s, but when they threw it to Paul, it was a home run. But for me to lead the league in receptions, that was the first time for anybody in Dolphin history to do it. It's been done since. But man, that was a hell of an honor, man. So yeah, man, getting at it with those boys, it was fun.
Yeah, and so it was 92 receptions in 1989, and I feel like we gotta add some like catchflation to that, because like we throw the ball. That's like 130, 140 receptions in today's age. Like it's a different game nowadays.
Easily, man, and with the extra game too. That just keep it coming, man. I'm with you on that, man.
Yeah.
I was talking about. I ran into my cousin this last weekend, and she was getting $35 a week. When she lived in California, she come visit us in Ohio, and we were trying to calculate what that'd be in today's money. And so she was making like $250 a week. You know what I mean? For being an 8-year-old kid, man. I was like, come on, man. I like that. You gotta compensate for that.
Dude, it's crazy. I didn't even have real money back in the 2000s. I was still a kid, but look, it's gotten insane. Even these past couple of years. It's all too expensive, man. But OJ, you were talking about growing up, in Ohio. You grew up right outside of Cleveland, right?
I did. I was born in Marion, Ohio, which is outside of Columbus, or close to Columbus. Okay. And I moved to Cleveland when I was 12 in that area. And so I went to Warrensville Heights, and then I went to high school at Hawkins School, which is also outside of Cleveland, obviously. Yeah,
okay,
sure.
What was going right into high school, what was your recruitment like? First off, did you play any other sports? I know you played baseball. I want to get into that at Penn State in a little bit. But did you get recruited for any other sports? And if not, what was your football recruitment kind of journey like throughout high school?
Yeah, man, I had a few different things. I even had track on my resume with some schools, some small schools. You never know if a guy wants to pursue a track career, even though they're doing other things. But, I played 4 sports in high school. I played football, obviously in the fall, played basketball in the winter, and then I played baseball and ran track during the spring. And the reason I did that is because I didn't want to run track, but I love jumping. You know what I mean? So what I did was, I play a baseball game, a doubleheader on Saturday, play a baseball game, go put on my track uniform, go get some jumps in so I can qualify for states, and go back and play the second game with a doubleheader in baseball. You know what I mean? So just so I can qualify for states, man. So.
That's crazy, OJ. I mean, like I feel like that's what, when guys like as talented as you are, that's what they used to do. Now it's, you're specialized. It's like you're playing one thing. But these guys now even are just, those type of guys, those high level athletes, they're just being specialized into one sport. So I love that you said that you were playing all different types of sports. When did you decide it was going to be football, though?
Well, I didn't decide football until, my sophomore year at Penn State. I'm in center field playing baseball, and it's snowing. And I'm like, you know what? this was fun, fellas, but enough is enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Enough is enough, and that was it, man. I still got drafted by the California Angels that year, you know, and but I still like, you know, I was like, football is where my bread's gonna be buttered. Football is where I can make money for my family right away, and so that became a pretty easy decision at that point, honestly.
Yeah, I'm sure. That's really cool getting drafted in two different sports. But, you know, real quick, going back to high school, what was your recruitment like with Joe Paterno and him trying to get you to Penn State?
Yeah, man, Joe was great. I mean, he really was great. So my top 5 schools, obviously living in Ohio State was one of them. Michigan, of course, was coming and crawling, you know, across the border. Notre Dame was huge. Notre Dame was on me probably before anybody was. You know, like my sophomore year in high school, I thought Notre Dame, I was getting Notre Dame letters, and my mom was so geeked because, you know, the school I went to, the high school I went to, all these kids were trying to get into Notre Dame. All these parents were trying to, you know, pretty much not buy their way in, but they had the money. It's a private school. There's a lot of money at this school. Just trying to get their kids in Notre Dame. And my mom's like, and they're offering you a free ride. They want you. They're coming for you, and they're instead of us going for them, you know. And so that was high on her priority list of schools for me to go to, man. But Coach Paterno, let me go back. Not even just Coach Paterno. When I went on my visit, Landon, as you know these Penn State cats, man. All just good dudes, man. All really fun guys to hang out with, all on the same team with you. So my visit in general was so good with the guys that when I thought about when I'm not in school, when I'm not playing ball, who are the guys that I want to hang out with on the, you know, in our social life. And Penn State it was easy. You know, the guys I went to visit with Notre Dame, they act like they didn't want me there. I visited UCLA. You know what I mean? That's just a little way too far at home. And I didn't really get to enjoy that. You know, Ohio State visit was great, but it was in state, and there's some other things that kept me from going there. And then, of course, Michigan. I mean, Michigan was like, I don't know what I was thinking about Michigan, you know, being an Ohio guy, you know, but, you know, I knew they were all great schools, man. That's how, you know, so I got to, you know, if I got to narrow it down to 5, I might as well put the best 5 probably in the country at that point. And that's who it was, man. But the guys at Penn State were so cool, so laid back. They had just come off a national championship a couple years ago. A lot of those guys were coming back. You know what I mean? I just knew that was the best. And let me tell you this first. I was not a Penn State fan at all because of the uniforms. The uniforms turned me off big time right away, man. I was flashy in high school, man. I had a rag, you know, towels, you know, wristbands. I was like flashy in high school, you know, and Penn State was just like, man, you know, kind of like what I'm wearing right now, you know. And but man, when I got up there, man, I just loved that campus. I love Joe. I love the atmosphere. You know, and of course, I figured out a way to make the uniform look right on me, you know, because that's all what it's all about, man. You got to find a way to make it yours, you know.
You gotta, hey OJ, you gotta look fly, especially out there wide receiver. You got to. Did you ever rock like the crop top or anything like that? Or
we we started off with that, man.
Okay.
That's how it was, bro. We were cutoffs all day, and then we decided we're gonna go with long jerseys one game, and I ended up cutting it back off because you know it was too hot. We're playing in Miami. They're playing in Miami at noon. They put full jerseys on us. I'm like, nah, we can't. We got to breathe up in here.
Yeah.
But anyhow, back to Joe, man. The reason I decided to go to Penn State after my UCLA trip, I got back on Sunday night. Monday morning, it was a FedEx package from Joe Paterno that came to my house. Right. It was a 7-page spiral notebook, handwritten letter from Joe Paterno talking about the pros and cons of me going to Penn State. You know, he said he knew I loved LA. He knew I loved the weather and all this other stuff, man. And in that letter, what I got from it, man, was that there were no promises in that letter. The only thing he promised me was I was going to get my degree. We play for a national championship, which we did not, but we were close. You know what I mean? Oh, he didn't promise me I was going to start. He you know, he was just kept it real. He promised me I could play baseball, which is one of the most important things. A couple other schools wouldn't let me play baseball. That kind of crossed them off right away if I couldn't play baseball because I knew that I had an opportunity, even out of high school, to play pro ball in baseball. You know, so the fact that I could play baseball, and you love this, if I went to spring ball my first year, I had to get 1 year of spring ball in.
That's what I was going to add. That was on my OJ. That was on my sheet. I was going to say, did you get out of spring ball or not? Because that's the real question. Because for those that don't know, man, spring ball, Man, it is widely hated among players because like
man.
you get done 5 months of a season and it's turn around and it's like, oh, here we go for another month and a half of pads clacking.
And they don't care in the spring because you got a chance to heal for the fall. They let you lay it on the line in the spring, man. It's like you got time to heal, bro. If it's minor, we got you.
I've heard that. It's all right. They'll be all right. They got a couple months, pulled heavy. You'll be all right. You'll be straight.
Yeah,
that's funny.
So that was huge, man. That was huge.
That's
man.
an awesome story. You said 7 pages, man.
7 pages. That's what's so crazy. I moved from my other house. I lived in my house for 25 years, man. And as you know, you start collecting stuff, man. You got stuff all over the place, And I moved from my other house, and I was moving out, and I couldn't find my letter, bro. I couldn't find my letter, man. It was the most upsetting thing of it. I don't care about anything else. I got the trophy room, all this other stuff. Where is my letter? I could not find my letter, man. And then I was in the, in my weight room, and I was not working out. I was just in there on the phone. I don't work out anymore.
Just for show.
Yeah, I just act like I was in there doing something, you know what I mean? And she walked into the weight room, man, with an envelope. And I said, please tell me that's the letter. And sure enough, she found the letter in one of our safes. You know what I mean? And, man, that meant the world to me, man, that letter right there, bro, because, Joe Paterno meant the world to us, man. He's a special guy, special man to this day, the greatest. Everybody talks about the coaches I played for, but, man, Joe Paterno is number one, right next to my Uncle Homer and, and my high school coach, Cliff Walton. I mean, Joe Paterno's that guy, man, that I look up to and think about the opportunity he gave me, but also, man, just what he meant to us as young men, boys going to men, and how he shaped our lives right at this point right now.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear, OJ. I mean, that's the biggest thing with these college coaches, man, is shaping you into, the man that you are today. And unfortunately, I never got to meet him, but, he is Penn State. He's the reason Penn State is Penn State today. But, I want to transition now, getting into college. What was that adjustment like? Did you play a lot, like freshman, sophomore year, as far as on the squad?
Right. So freshman year, I did not play a lot. I played a little bit, and I burnt my redshirt year. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So, which was okay. It ended up being great, actually. I'll be honest with you, because I needed it eventually. So, didn't play a lot. Team wasn't very good. Hell, we lost to Virginia. We lost some teams, and my boy Terry Kirby's gonna love that one. Yeah, Virginia.
That's rough. Virginia, was it at home?
No, we lost down there. We lost down there, and they thought they won a Super Bowl. But anyhow, we weren't very good. That's the first year I think that's Joe's maybe first losing season, and I was part of that as a freshman, even though I didn't get a chance to contribute much. But then so I played a little bit at the end. But then my sophomore year is when the year that I, counting on me to do a lot more. And so I got a lot more playing time my sophomore year. My junior year, my junior year is when I got hurt, so I redshirted that year, and so on and so forth, man. So It took me a little while to get going, man. But I was returning kicks. I had some great spring. That first spring that I went out there, I had a great spring. I played in the spring game the second year. I didn't really want to, but I did and had a solid spring game. But they were counting on me.
Did you practice before that?
I did a little bit, but see,
just a little bit. Okay.
I had the Hollywood practice. Nobody was hitting me. None of that. I got to that point already in my career where there's no tackling me. There's no. I got hit one time. Man. I got hit one time, and I was about to fight somebody. You're not basically. You're not supposed to be hitting me, right? You know what I mean?
I already know that's like that guy. He has the pads off early. It's like you still got like the last quarter of practice left, and it's like, why has he already got his pads off? What's he doing on the side? Like, hey, let him chill.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
I'm already knowing. So you play how many years did you play? I know you played in 1990 for the baseball team, but how many years did you play varsity baseball at Penn State?
I played 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah, I got 2 years.
I got you.
In baseball. Really, I don't even know if I even made it through that second year. I know it was snowing, so it probably didn't. And now they got a nice facility. It's nice over there right now, man. It wasn't like that when I played, man. It was like, it was garbage when I got over there, man.
Yeah, they're redoing some of the ballpark too. They're doing some cool stuff to it. So no, they're doing some good stuff. I don't mean to. I know it's obviously very sentimental subject for you guys to talk about. But if you could just describe playing for Joe Paterno in one word for me, what word do you think you'd use, OJ?
That's a great question, and I've never been asked that question before because I don't know if I can do it in one word, but I think playing for Joe Paterno, I always say, made us prepared. How about prepared?
I like
That's
that.
the word I like to use, prepared. It prepared you for the next level of football if you were going to be able to go that route. It also prepared you for life. You know what I mean? Prepared you to be a man. It prepared you for everything, man. And that was what Joe was all about, man. Joe used to always talk about, his best team. People ask him, and, you think it's one of the teams that won the national championship or one of the 12 or 13 teams that went undefeated. And it's a team that I think went like 7-5. And you ask, like, why is that your best team? He said, like, 4 are lawyers, 3 are doctors, 5 own their own business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's why it was his best team, man. And that's something that, that I really appreciate about with Joe and what he cared about. And that's the thing that people don't get when all the stuff happened at school. That Joe wasn't about his wins. His win-loss record was the least thing on his mind. The most important thing for him was, how are you carrying yourself in society? How are you acting on campus? How are you, how are you carrying yourself as a grown man? And that meant a lot to me, man. And when people, even to this day, when they talk about Joe, I always got his back because they don't know Joe like we know Joe.
I love it, OJ. Hey, success with honor. And honestly, a lot of people, around, they still don't even know what that means. I'll tell you, a lot of these young cats, I didn't even know what success with honor. We started getting NIL checks, and it says success with honor on it, OJ. I didn't even know what success with honor was.
So I like that.
Yeah. So I'm, trying my best, do my part, educate as much as possible to, learn about who Joe Paterno really was. It was a great man.
I probably need to ask you about these NIL checks, man. Let me
Hey, don't ask me about none of that. Come to the Student Bookstore downtown on College Ave. Whether you need a game day fit or you're just chilling in the crib, Student Bookstore has all your Penn State clothing needs. Speaking of checks, though, let's get into OJ and the NFL. Obviously, first round draft pick. I'm sure that's a lifetime goal. That had to have been amazing. But I want to talk about that adjustment. Was there a big time learning curve of anything they asked you to do in Miami that you didn't have to do at Penn State?
Well, you know what, man? It obviously the biggest adjustment was playing against grown ass men. You know what I mean? There's some, we call them big gams are out there, man. They, and no matter where you went to school, you go to Middle Tennessee State, you go Texas Tech, you go wherever you are, them dudes can play because they wouldn't be at that level if they couldn't play. You know how it is. Sometimes at Penn State, you get a couple games. I'm not gonna mention these schools, but it's gonna be, it's gonna be a big day for you as a wide receiver, as a running back, or you're gonna pounce on the guy across from you. You know what I mean? I mean, we know those days are out there. At the league, man, it was like a whole different world, man. So like playing at Penn State and playing against USC, playing against UM, playing against Notre Dame, playing against Texas. Those are great games, man. But you got to the league, it was like, okay, man, it's even faster. It's even bigger, stronger, faster. And that was one of the things I had to, be ready for. And one thing I also had to be ready for is that my teammates are my teammates, but there are also some guys with a wife and kids that are out there trying to get another year or two in the league, so you understand their intensity, against you, even though you're teammates, man. So there was a lot to learn there. I mean, you think about it. I mean, how many hours are we limited to a week, in football and college?
I think
there's
it's 20.
No limit.
Yeah, I think
there's
20.
There's no limit in the pro game. Nah, bro. It's a job. It's there. You're there at 7, you leave at 6. You know what
That's
I mean?
what I wanted to ask you. Did it change for all that you like? Did it change in any way for you from going from just having fun to now? Like, I know obviously you're getting paid a lot of money, but it being a job, did that take away some of the fun a little bit, or how did that change in your mind?
Yeah, there's no more. I mean, you won't find more fun than high school and college and high school. Those are my two. But the business part of the NFL is like it's a whole different world. You know what I mean? I always joke like this, man, and there's only 2 fun days in football and the pros, and that's Sundays and paydays. You know what I mean? Those are the fun days, man. So the rest of it, they can keep the rest of it. Anybody that says they'll play the game for free, I dare them to come out there and try and play that game for free. They bitch and moan about how much these guys make. They earn every penny of it, man, as we both know. So the business part of it, man, it's terrible, man. It really is, man. And you be in a meeting sometimes, and you be out there, you look out the window and you see a bunch of wide receivers working out. You're like, damn, who in this room is in trouble? You know what I mean? Somebody in this room right here is in trouble. You know what I mean? And you just hope it's not you.
It's crazy because in college you don't got that. Like you don't have the opportunity to get fired in college. Like you mess up, whatever. You fail a test, you get yelled at. Whatever's gonna happen. You got to go about your business. But I mean, obviously, in the league, just like that. You get cut, your best friend, your locker mate, you get cut.
Don't get too close to too many dudes, man.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Especially back then, hell, there was no social media. I couldn't reach out to you. We had a cell phone, but it cost like more than my mortgage payment did. So if somebody was cut, that's probably the end of your friendship at that point.
That's it. You ain't hearing from him again. I might write you a letter.
Run into you somewhere.
Yeah, right. I'll see you around. Man, that's hilarious. Did you ever have like a specific like welcome to NFL moment where you either got like slacked, or it could be something like off the field where it's like you met someone where it's like, holy crap, I just met him.
Yeah, man, there's a couple times, man. I mean, honestly, you walk in that locker room originally, hell, Madden was live and well back then, in terms of the game, playing in college, playing in my dorm room. Then you walk in the locker room, you got Dan Marino, you got Urban Fryer, you got Keith Byers, Keith Jackson. We had that locker room. And then next year, Bernie Kosar was Danny's backup. And Bernie was I'm growing up in Cleveland. I mean, we were at a banquet one time, my senior year. We were at a banquet. I got Offensive Player of the Year. Desmond Howard got Defensive Player of the Year, and Bernie Kosar was the Browns Player of the Year. So we're up on that dais with him, man. I'm like, man, I can't wait to be up here in his shoes. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, that's that moment where you're like, damn, man, it's like a childhood dream of mine was to play in the league. Then as I get older, it's like, I just want to, play junior high ball. All right, now I'm play high school. Okay, now I got a chance to play in college. Then you get that opportunity in college to realize your childhood dream of playing in the pros, man. It was surreal. It really was.
Yeah. You were talking about Madden, and I wanted to talk to you about this. Everybody remembers Leon Lett. And I know this was your rookie season, right? 1993?
Correct.
And that was, if you don't know, just look up Leon Lett on YouTube. That's the first thing that comes up, where y'all were playing the Cowboys, right? And there was a huge, and when I was researching this, I thought about it for a second. I'm like, why was there a big snowstorm? I'm like, it was the Cowboys versus the Dolphins. Well, I did some more research, and they said it was some cold front came up on Dallas. So next thing you know, you're playing for the Dolphins. You got a cold game down in the South, at Dallas, and I think it was kind of later in the season in November.
Thanksgiving.
It was Thanksgiving. It was right. Well, you're right. It was Thanksgiving. And, John Madden was on the call too, I believe. And you guys kicked the field goal, got blocked, and Leon Lett didn't know the rules, came up, touched it in the end zone. I believe one of your offensive linemen then kind of picked it up. You guys were able to re-kick it from the 1 yard line.
Yep. Jeff Dellenbach.
Yep. And you guys were able to win. But I just had to ask you about that moment, like your rookie year. What was going through your mind on that play? The classic Leon Lett. No.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to tell you this.
You're on the other side of it. But
yeah, I'm going to tell you this. We all grew up, most of us, half the country grew up Dallas Cowboy fans. And the reason I grew up a Dallas Cowboy fan is because TV, that's all there was on. Dallas. We had 3 stations, 4, 6, and 10. And the Cowboys, every Sunday, were on Channel 4. So if you wanted to watch football, you watch the Cowboys. They're on 4 o'clock on CBS, and then they were on Monday nights a lot. And of course, they're on Thanksgiving every time. So I became a huge Cowboy fan. So to get an opportunity my rookie year to play on Thanksgiving in Dallas, man, it was special. But then, like you said, the storm was there. So we got hail, sleet, field's a mess. Of course, Dallas had the open roof at that point. So they always say so God can watch his team play. I don't buy it. But
man, they love them Cowboys.
I bought it when I was a Cowboy fan, but I don't buy it now that I'm not. I'm no longer a Cowboy fan. And so, yeah, man, it was surreal to be just a part of that whole situation, man. We, going in there, we were one of the best teams in the league. We were sitting at 8-2. Cowboys were playing really well at that point too. So it was a big, big game for us, man. And to get out of there with that win on the Leon Lett play, there were so many big plays in there. Talk about Keith Byers. He had like a 72-yard run, and then he got in the end zone, did a snow angel, you know what I mean? And Kevin, one of the return guys took a punt back for like 80 yards. And that one hurt right there. And he did some funny thing going into the end zone. So it was showtime that day.
Yeah.
And then, of course, for it to end the way it did. And I even watched the film the other day because we had a guy on, Jeff Dellenbach, the guy that recovered it. He was on our podcast the other day. And they showed Jerry Jones on the sideline jumping around, happy after the block. And then here comes Leon Lett sliding in there. That thing was like a grease pig, man. The boy jumped on it, man. It was outstanding, man. So it was really cool, man. It was just awesome to be a part of something because you're always going to be a part of that history. Everybody's going to talk about that till the end of time.
Yeah, that's like an NFL moment. That's like an immaculate reception type deal for sure, right there. And for you to be a part of it, I'm sure is really cool. But OJ, I gotta, I do my research. I'm a broadcast journalism major here at Penn State.
Uh-oh.
So I'm asking people, but I heard that you used to be running basketball games at your house in Miami,
Man.
right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So first off, I gotta ask you, when did you build the court in your house? Or did your house come with the basketball court?
No, I built my house from scratch. Kijana Carter and I, we bought land next to each other. About 1.5 acres. He bought 2.5 acres, and we built houses next to it. I built mine. I was the only one on the block, man. I was the only one on the block for over 1.5 years. They wouldn't even bring cable out to my house. It was so they were not until you build more houses are we gonna put cable out here. So I was the only one. There's only room for like 9 houses on this street, right? And so while they were building the house, I started building the court. So I have good friends of mine from Cincinnati. They put up these pro NBA hoops, right? And so within that permit, I had them come out and build my basketball court because otherwise we had to pull separate permits. So the court was built before I even had windows in my house. So we go out there and hoop while they're working over there. We're over hooping at my crib, man, because as you know, every football player thinks they can play basketball. All of us. We can hoop. We can all hoop, man. And that same thing with our guys, man. Everybody could play, man. Went out there and had some good runs, and we had some classy games out there, man. Some big time stars came out there.
Yeah,
half the football team was always there, but yeah.
Yeah. What kind of did you get any real hoopers like NBA players out there?
Yeah, well, Scottie Pippen came out there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And he thought he was gonna come out there and just have an easy way out there, man. But hell, we struggled for 4 games straight, man. 12-10, 12-9, 12-11 because we played dead to 12 because got people waiting. You know what I mean? We had some rough ones out there, man. And Scottie realized, man, these boys can play, man, because we are. I mean, football players, in my opinion, are the best athletes out there. Most guys would have played basketball if they'd have been a little taller.
Well, I bet a lot of guys on the Dolphins, like you said, they could have been in the league. They just don't. They was missing a couple inches there.
That's it. But, all of them dunking, landing, as easy dunking. Like people don't realize that, man. When I tell people I dunk, they're like, "Yeah, right, man. I dunked easily." I high jump 60. I high jump 6'8". I long jump 24 feet in high school. So my hops were always there. Most of us have that type of athletic ability, as you know.
Yeah, dude, I know exactly what you're talking about. I mean, I remember East Hall's freshman year. We finished up spring ball, right? You got some memories there. I mean, we used to go out there, like me, Kobe King, Jalen Reed. I remember, I mean, you said people be like, you can't dunk. I was throwing oops to Kalen King. Like, Kalen King can throw it. He's only like 6'1". He's throwing it down on people in there. Like, it's not even. I remember running those courts till like 1 a.m. They'd shut the lights off. After spring ball, we used to have like 3 weeks left until the semester was over. And we was just, straight we just got there and just stars just running the court. And we were just killing these
anybody out there.
Anybody that wanted it could get it.
We had a couple times when I got there, the basketball team wasn't as good as they are right now. And we could hang with the basketball team back then. You know what I mean? And they were good. They were really good. And a couple guys that I know, like Freddie Barnes and them boys, they were really, really good, man. But we could hang with a lot of them cats, man. It was fun.
Yeah, running, and then it gets sad because nowadays when guys they'll play basketball their freshman sophomore year, but when you start to realize kind of who you are, it's like, I'm not taking that risk. Like Tyler Warren is the best basketball player. I think he could start on Penn State. I swear, I kid you not. But he stopped playing the pickup ball after. You start to see, okay, I can go in the first, second round. Let me not play around because I've heard
business decision. We call that, right?
Exactly. Decision. I can't imagine the Dolphins were probably too happy if they heard y'all were running those type of games.
You know what? We used to have, honestly, we actually had games with a lot of our guys. We'd go play against firefighters, teachers, police officers. Yeah, we did that all the time in the off season, bro. That was part of us making a couple extra bucks. Man, we make like $200, man. Cause we weren't making a ton of money, but that extra 200, man, that was gas money for the week. Back then,
right.
And so for a couple of weeks, man. So yeah, we used to play all the time, man. And that's why I wanted to do a court at my house too, because it became a safer ball up. We need a safe ball up. We know we protect each other out there. No hard fouls. Somebody's got a breakaway layup unless it's game point. That's a different story.
Unless it's game point, then I'm clotheslining. I already know. It don't matter where you are. You competing if it's game point, OJ. Nah, that's what's up. I'm sure you got some crazy stories for that one. But OJ, I want to transition now into really off the field. I want to talk about your foundation, which is Catch 81. first off, where can people find that if they're listening right now to help out?
Yeah, we've actually put Catch 81 on hold a little bit right now because my mom passed away about actually a decade ago now, but we tried to run the foundation without her. It's really hard to do. And so my wife and I being so busy that we kind of didn't get the attention that it deserved. So what we do now, instead of doing our own events, we contribute to other foundations. So we work with Jason Taylor's foundation all the time. We work with a whole bunch of different other charities because we decided that we're best served helping others, because we can't put the time and energy into our own, then we don't want to go in there half-assed. You know what I mean? But I appreciate you bringing that up, man.
Yeah, sure. No, OJ, that's fantastic. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what the charities are about, man. It's about helping other people. And I've seen what you guys have done in the past. They've done toy drives. You guys did strikes for kids. You did a lot of great stuff in the community, and obviously still doing stuff. But I just want to talk about that want to help people out, to help the kids out. Like, where'd you get that from? Yeah,
that's what it's all about, man. My mom always said, you've been giving so much, it's imperative that you give back, And then so, just being in the community, and it really started at Penn State. Honestly, I started doing a lot of charity work at Penn State. And then it just carried on. You get here, everybody else got their own foundation. Dan Marino had a foundation. So you try to find your way in there until we find where we want to be in terms of ourselves. We started off working with kids with cystic fibrosis, then American Heart Association. And then my mom and I, me being an only child, her being a single parent, we want to work with single parent homes and kids that, were growing up with teen moms. My mom was a teen mom. And so that's why we decided to start the Catch 81 Foundation, because we want to, really affect people that really hit close to home and what we went through when I was growing up, and what my mom had to go through as a single parent. And so, that's when we started doing the toy drives, for kids that didn't have a lot for Christmas. We can give them one more extra toy or two more extra toys, man. That's what it was all about. Backpacks, going to school, kids are short, school supplies and things like that. Giving backpacks out was important, because a lot of times these kids go and other kids have, and these other kids don't have, and then becomes an issue for these kids, in terms of their self-esteem, bullying, things like that. So we want to make sure they were going into school equipped on day one, to be successful in the classroom. So just things like that, man, were super important to us, and it still is. Like I help with Jason Taylor's foundation. They've got they're going to Old Navy, and they give these kids a $300 gift card at Old Navy to go shopping for school. That's cool. Awesome. Gear for the school year is called, man. And stuff like that is what it's all about, man. I mean, what would you, $300 at Old Navy, man? I wanted to go shopping myself. I said, how can I get one of them little gift cards?
That's what I'm saying.
What I mean? And the best part about all that was, Land, is a lot of these kids, when they get to a certain point in shopping, they might have $50 left. They always ask, can I get something for my little brother? Can I get something for my little sister? And I'm like, man, that's what it's all about right there.
Yeah.
That's what we do too, man. It's all about the kids, as you know, man.
Yeah. Being able to give back, it's absolutely a blessing, OJ. No, look, I appreciate you coming on, though. My final question for you. I know you're a little bit of a DJ. You can, you can get on. You kind of know how to work a room. You get to play one song. What song are you playing? And let's say, I'll set the scene for you. It's more of a club-like atmosphere. You trying to get everybody kind of turned up. That's the type of vibe. It could be a post game. It could be whatever. But I'm talking a little bit of a turned up vibe. I'm putting you on the spot right here.
Oh, but
man, what song would you go with? Or you can give me an artist too.
I think, I'm going DMX.
Okay.
I don't know if it's called Bring It.
Yeah. I know you're talking about
here. I always think about walk up. So I'm a baseball guy. You know what I mean? That'd be like my walk up song. We ain't going anywhere.
Yeah.
Right. So that's probably
I love it.
I love it. With. Yeah.
That's awesome. Hey, OJ McDuffie, man, I appreciate you coming on. It means a lot. I'm sure the fans love to hear it.
Man, appreciate you, man. That was awesome.
Yes, sir.